Hey everybody, how's it going? SirEmanon here, and I am casting with my compatriot MBT Yugioh. How are you doing today?
Hello, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is not 10-minute testing, but we're going to be testing out some interesting decks here as we cast the Reddit Championship Series.
Wow, you immediately played off that. Wow, fantastic. Oh man, yeah, we're doing Reddit Championship Series again. This time it is not the non-meta tournament, and as a result, we're going to see some pretty interesting and pretty expected decks. A lot of Dragon Link in this field, a lot of Dinosaur in this field, a lot of Invoked Dogmatica Shadow, a lot of the decks you see in the LCS, in the CSMs, and in the Remote Duel Invitationals. However, this round we're casting something that is a little off the wall in terms of viability, not something you would expect to see in any of those events. One of these two players is on Speedroid.
Yeah, as is tradition for the early rounds of Swiss, we tend to try and avoid meta here, and Speedroid certainly fits the bill. We will say that over the course of the past year and a half, I would say, this deck has been quietly getting a lot of direct and indirect support. For example, we have cards like Speedroid Card Turbo, which is a nice extender. We also have things like Win the Wind Channeler, which adds consistency. And overall, the deck has a fair amount of good payoffs just for the amount of ways to spam the board that it has access to.
And it will be playing against Magical Dragon Eldlich, which needs, I think, no introduction. A version of Eldlich that understands it has to be a little more proactive than normal, and ends on Chaos Ruler the Magical Dragon, milling a whole bunch of cards, turning on all your Eldlich stuff, and generally just being a recursive body.
Yeah, I gotta say, Chaos Ruler is still one of the coolest cards in the game, in my opinion, and it's always nice to see the deck in action in anything that is outside of just regular Dragon Link.
Right. All right. We will begin with Quick Launch. Big surprise. Coming out of the Dragon Link player, down comes Rocket Tracer, and I imagine that will transform into a Striker Dragon.
Yep, and this is obviously just the one card way in to get into the Chaos Ruler itself. So we'll just be going through the motions here. Striker Dragon popping itself to add back Tracer, followed by a Boot Sector launch.
And I
Summoning back the
imagine you've got to be
Tracer.
like super excited if you're the Speedroid player to see the Striker Dragon immediately fire itself off for the Tracer from Graveyard. You go, oh, thank God I don't have to play against Dragon Link.
Yeah, but until you see the Cursed Eldland, which makes this combo a lot better because you get to pop with the Tracer and get to trigger the Eldland effect, so that turns on your entire Eldritch package.
Yeah, of course, the one card allows you to still access Magical Dragon by popping the Boot Sector launch, but much better if you can pop your own Cursed Eldland as part of an extension. Sort of understanding that one of the things that made Zulich so powerful was the ability of high roll hands to like make a Dryden, pop your own Eldland, pop off from there, and then turning that into, instead of just a defensive threat in Dryden, a big offensive buddy who just straight up accesses your game plan in Chaos Dragon, and I think we're going to see it now.
Yeah, and I think one of the
Never mind.
just
Never
kidding,
mind.
dude.
We're just going into
Going straight into
load.
that.
Oh, we must have everything already.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I guess to be
gosh.
fair, you don't really need to mill
Well,
Eldritch
yeah.
cards if you drew them all anyway. And out comes Pot of Prosperity to help fix the hand even more.
Yeah. This telegraphs that we probably have something like a copy of Red Eldlixir in hand already have access to the Eldlich, already have Golden Land spells and traps in order to have disruption on our opponent's turn. And for that reason, why not just go into a negate? You know, the 8-star synchro pool is pretty stellar.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to be a pretty good setup considering that you already have the long game established. One of the biggest things with Eldritch is that it can take a while to get set up,
Jeez.
but obviously, when you have this good of an opening hand, that is going to be pretty solved, and that is going to be a pass. 3 back row. Pretty
So
good.
given that opening, I think we can pretty safely say that it's likely going to be exactly a Scarlet Sanguine, a Hakero, and probably a Conquistador as well. But down comes Speedroid Terrortop, the absolute boy, probably the most high roll possible open for the Speedroid deck, into Marble Machine. This is a weird card. Would you like to explain it?
Yeah, so on normal summon, I do believe that it's an activated effect to become a Rhoda for Speedroids, and it does lock you into wins, but I mean, a lot of the restrictions for Speedroids are shared, so that's not really that big of a deal. But just adding more consistency, and also just a quick friendly reminder that Terratop is still at 1.
Yeah.
and they managed to find it.
Easy. I mean, simply separates the good Speedroid players from the bad Speedroid players. I love Speedroid. It is a testament to Konami understanding you can print any card you want. You can make any card do anything you want as long as it locks you into wind monsters. Like, as long as you aren't able to access the chaos typings, cards can just win the game. And nothing really does so as much as a card like Terror Top into Takatomborg, into Marble Machine, etc.
Well, out comes Takatomborg, which, hey, that actually has an effect in this deck, so we will be using that to grab, I believe that is a Denden Daiko Duke.
Wow, you got that first try.
Yeah, which is another extender. And one of the coolest synchros, actually, that this deck has access to is the Virtual World Shenshen, being just a generic 9. So I'll be interested to see if this pulls any weight in specifically the Eldlich matchup. Banishing the traps is pretty strong.
So here comes a 5. We're going to go for Hagoita. This is a reasonable card. You contribute it to increase all of your monsters' levels by 1, but notably, it's just free to special from the graveyard, provided you've got a Speedroid tuner. So you can use it to ladder and then bring it back.
Yep, and out comes the card turbo that I believe was searched earlier. So we now have access to Crystal Wing Fodder, which this deck is notorious for just spamming out.
It's really interesting how something as innocuous as Shenshen being a generic monster can push all these decks that were sort of on the edges of playability into contention, just because now they actually have a payoff for their plays. Kite Drake coming down here. Wow! And with this card Synchro Summoned, you get to destroy all other cards on the field. That is absolutely going to eat the Savage Dragon.
Yeah, not really too many better ways to force that out than just having a complete board wipe for free.
Wow.
Which is, definitely pretty strong. And Speed Recovery, a very fitting name because that just is another extender. So we have the Denden Daiko Duke, we have the Hagoita, we have a lot of ways to follow up here.
And this is kind of frustrating. Targeting the Denden Daiko Duke means that it's going to have to be the target of the Hakero, and it's also the card you wanted to banish. So maybe there was an argument to targeting a different thing because you're going to access the Denden at some point. But anything that keeps Hagoita in grave is probably fine.
Yeah, so we'll see what other cards there are left. There's still 3 cards in hand, so reasonable chance to still make a play past this point.
And this is not once per turn, just so everyone's aware. Oh my gosh. It reads like a card that would be once per turn, but it's not. It's just you can fire 3 Reborns into your deck.
Yeah, seems pretty good. And also has a graveyard effect that people can tend to forget about too, which can just add Speedroids back to the hand from the grave as well.
Imagine getting back Takatomborg. Oh my god. All right, down comes Hagoita, and we're going to make an 8, I believe. Oh, there he is.
Yep, there's the boy.
All right, we're going to battle phase. Borreload, the Link monster, matches up extremely well against Crystal Wing Synchro Dragons and was one of the reasons why it was so playable in the first format it was legal. Borreload Savage Dragon does not. It has a level, so we'll be able to activate the effect of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon in order to gain its attack value.
Yep, so a fairly sizable attack boost, and gonna clear the Eldlich as well.
We are going to go for the Conk here.
Conquistador. Yep.
And going for the Crystal Wing, usually these Crystal Wings are impervious to destruction because they're being made with Wind Witch Synchro monsters. This is not the case here. So that Synchro Dragon will go to the graveyard, will be left on a Kite Drake. And if you're in the Eldlich player seed, you're feeling pretty good about this. You can walk over the Kite Drake with an attack position Eldlich. You only have to chew through 1 piece of interaction, it looks like, and no negates on field. Looks like just the back row was enough to equalize this.
Yeah, so we will be able to see pretty much now it's just going to be Eldlich as the Rokket portion has.
Maybe not. It's like the one punish for this, of course, is if it's called by the grave exactly, and there it is.
Yeah, well, now this at least turns on the boot to summon from grave, but we're going to go for quick launch instead, it looks like.
This is interesting. So Rokket Tracer can only summon from deck, and I believe we have the deck lists up. I think they're only on the 1 tuner target.
Yeah, they're playing 3 Tracer and 1 copy of Silver Rokket, actually, instead of the Recharger, which is more standard. But we're going for Halka Fibrex, which is pretty good.
Yeah, we might just be laddering our way into a access code talker, and it looks like we are doing just that. We're going to Celine with, I believe, more than enough in the grave. Those 3 spell recoveries are doing a lot of work.
Yep, for sure. And just hop, skip, and a jump. We actually don't really see too much Valor in just normal lists, aside from specifically this Celine access code setup. But here we are.
It's really funny that like everyone figured out there's all these sweet 1-card access codes as long as you're just playing Valor in your list at all. And still people are like, no, it's just not a very good hand trap. Not worth it to me.
Yeah, but here it looks like it might be useful in terms of just achieving the purpose of being link material. So the board gets cleared.
This is kind of crusty. Usually you're happy to play Access Code Talker and Eldlich because Access Code is so fantastic at just wiping the entire field, and Access Code plus a copy of Eldlich is lethal. Here it's not going to be, and with so much stuff in the graveyard, I'm a little scared that if we don't kill our opponent exactly now, we might be dead on the crackback. The double Yo-Yo added to hand, that's the normal. We'll be able to special the Terror Top if we add it back to our hand, and ooh, buddy, leaving them at 2,700 is probably not enough.
Yeah, it's crazy that Kite Drake, in addition to being just the entire board nuke, is also a follow-up play. So we have potentially 5 cards in our hand for Speedroid after the speed recoveries get resolved next turn.
Ooh, and a black Elixir over a white Destiny means that Anna Ash Blossom will prevent any of these Golden Land spells and traps from being impactful, but I suppose we'll find out.
Yeah, so we will see when those get timed and when the disruptions get used, and how well
so
Speedroid can actually push.
Like,
yeah,
you can activate Hakero right here in order to prevent the speed recovery, but they can go for the second speed recovery. So really just a question of what flavor of nonsense do you want added to the hand. We're going to begin with a Terror Top, unsurprisingly.
Yep, and here comes Takatomborg, 3 of, which is kind of funny to think about how the ratio is 3 Takatomborg, 1 Terror Top, and pure Speedroids.
Wow. I mean, for so long, this card just might as well have not had text, but it's actually got a really bonkers effect, provided you have any good Speedroids in your deck.
Yep, and Denden Daiko Duke is a pretty good one, considering the other one, I believe, is banished. So here comes Hagoida, which,
Very silly.
by the way, doesn't banish itself.
I thought it did banish itself. I just assumed.
Yeah, the restrictions are all based on the wind summoning condition. So just free to come back.
I don't know about this. Firing it when they target Kite Drake, I think you care very little about that card.
Yeah, I mean, the effect to pop cards happens on Synchro Summon, so maybe they're just trying to prevent more damage, perhaps.
The idea was they'd put it back into their deck and then Synchro Summon it, but you can just pop the tuner here, I feel like. Or maybe not.
That is
Emergency
true,
Teleport coming out as well. Oh, this is why they're on the 1 Nian Yan.
Oh, yeah, so this is a sick kind of extender, because a lot of the Speedroids are level 3. It is also a wind monster. So just another nice body as an extender. And we haven't even normal summoned, so here we'll do that now.
Double Yo-Yo is an unbelievably powerful normal summon as well. Just lets you reborn from the graveyard. We'll get the Den Daikotuke, and there we go. We get to make use of the virtual World Series of Monsters. Juju coming down. This is, wow, this is killer.
Yeah, and notably because a lot of the Speedroids, of course, share the same type and attribute, the Juju protection is also going to be on. So it's going to be randomly a pretty difficult card to out against a deck like Eldlich.
All right, we're going to get back Card Turbo with the Denden Daikotuke, and oh, gosh. Potentially we might see Card Turbo facilitating an OTK. Down comes Clear Wing Fast Dragon, a card that I can't believe people actually played for a short amount of time at the start of Wind Witch's popularity. One of the only pendulum synchro monsters. So its on-field effect allows you to change a monster from the extra deck's attack to 0 and negate its effects. And if it's destroyed, you put it in the pendulum zone, at which point you can send a face-up Speedroid tuner and a non-tuner monster you control to the graveyard to effectively synchro this from the pen zone.
So that is a pretty good way to take care of this access code talker. And
ooh, is this lethal here if we just attack with Crystal Wing?
You are looking at this life total and are wondering if this is going to be lights out pretty fast.
We are going to target the Eldlich. Big surprise. That's going to turn off the Conquistador that might be lurking in the back row, and Dive Missile says, yeah, I don't think I have one. We'll go to the battle phase, direct for 3k, and provided they don't have another blocker, this is the end of the game.
Yeah, we will see.
We do have the comp.
Looks like there is a Conquistador, so...
Wow, that's frustrating. If we'd only summoned the Terror Top in attack position, we would have been able to win this.
Oh, it would have been an exact game, too. That would have been funny. But still
they're still in a pretty bad position.
Yeah, so here comes the boot sector, gonna reborn 2 from grave.
What do you even go into? I imagine you go into Chaos. We're gonna activate Eldlich here, sending the Elixir of Black Awakening. That's pretty rough. We'll go to battle and attack over the Fast Dragon. That's cool, but Crystal Wing is still lurking, and keeping a large monster in attack position is just devastating.
All right, looks like in main 2, we're gonna go for the BLS link. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's less good into an empty board state than you would think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you try and do that before battle phase, it just gets negated by the Fast Dragon. Although, wait, does the Fast Dragon target? It does. So, yeah, I do wonder if it was maybe worth going into that prior, but looks like we're going to see some more text coming out of the Speedroid deck.
What is this card in here for?
So they are actually on a singular copy of the Mecha Phantom Beast Aurora Dawn, which is making a presence without Halka Fibrax. So just being additional wind extenders is pretty good here because it allows you to get an additional token when it's used for synchro material of a machine monster. And what do you know? That is what many of these Speedroids happen to be.
So we're going into the card that is really making Speedroid even a consideration. Is High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter. It is a pretty generic link monster to wind, and then during your main phase you can activate its effect. After that effect resolves, normal a wind monster, and then you can banish a wind synchro monster from your extra, reveal Speedroids with different names from your deck whose levels equal the total. One goes to your hand randomly. Just a fantastic, fantastic card. Monster Reborn, the last card, getting Car Turbo here, and this might be lights out.
Yeah, Car Turbo being the 3-star tuner here, which could facilitate a Shen Shen as well.
Yep.
Outcomes in the end in the process. Yeah.
This is so frustrating. The Hagoida every single turn is just adding unbelievable stars to the field.
Yeah, this is just this is a lot of plays here for sure.
Okay, we missed lethal last turn with the Terror Top. We missed lethal again with the Car Turbo Graveyard effect. This time we're not playing around. We're summoning Battle Wasp, Hammer the Conquering Bow. Oh gosh. Okay, that is probably enough.
Okay, I'm reading this card right now. So if it was synchro summoned using a synchro monster as material, it can make a second attack in the battle phase. And when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can make all their monsters lose 1,000 attack and defense. And at the end of your battle phase, your opponent hasn't taken any damage. You can inflict 300 to your opponent for each Battle Wasp in your grave. So just a big attacker, basically.
Yeah, this card's bad, but I imagine there are scenarios where it would come up. So there's the last of the Scarlet Elixirs. To the graveyard goes Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Looks like we're going to pop this Nyan Nyan. Oh, no, we're using the Nyan Nyan for a Shen Shen. A little late, but still might get it going. And finally, we'll activate the Car Turbo Graveyard effect to give our wind monsters 300 attack. That'll be enough, and Dive Missile will concede. Christ alive.
Yeah, so we saw a very explosive opening from the Rokket Eldlich deck, pretty much going full combo unhindered, but Speedroid just breaking through, and more importantly, actually having a great grind game, surprisingly.
This is going to sound extremely stupid because, of course, Speedroid is nothing like this other deck, but it kind of reminds me of Eldlich's matchup versus Dragon Link, where Eldlich is this incredibly powerful control strategy with inevitability, but unlike other control strategies, it doesn't have, like, big AoE, like, turn-stopping plays. You know, it doesn't really play Floodgates, it doesn't really play stuff like Mystic Mine that give these decks pause, at least until boarding, when you can play stuff like Anti-Spell Fragrance. And as a result, a lot of the time you're staring down a combo deck with like access to one pop, provided your opponent doesn't have an Ash Blossom or something. And that's kind of a recipe for getting bowled over by these all-in combo decks like Dragon Link, of course, but also like Speedroid that have these unbelievably high ceilings and can easily play through exactly one piece of interaction.
Yeah, and I do wonder how good this standby phase anti-spell is going to be. I mean, we did obviously see cards like Speed Recovery and Monster Reborn, but a lot of the extension just came from, spitting out monsters with their effects.
Honestly, I'm shocked to see the Cosmic Chained. If they have another Cosmic in hand, it'll make sense, but I would honestly just go fishing. Like, try and hit one of the set cards. Realistically, what spells are you going to activate? The On-Theme Monster Reborn?
Yeah, I mean, that is also definitely a fair point. And looks like the Tether Wolf being the one card.
Or Called By. Called By is a good one, too.
Ooh, that's pretty good, yeah.
Okay, here comes Scarlet Sanguine. Going to be met with Forbidden Droplet. So we can send the Scarlet Sanguine to the graveyard in order to negate the effect of the Rubber Band Shooter. But that's it. Like, that's the one interaction. You're now at the mercy of any extension.
Yeah, that was all achieved off pretty much one card, too, for Speedroid.
Okay, it didn't matter. They had nothing else.
Yeah. They didn't have the extension.
The deck is all extenders. We saw the Terror Tops, the Takatomborgs, the Denko Daidukes, the Yo-Yos, and here it's just like, well, my opening play got negated, so what am I going to do?
Yeah, so I guess we're just going to clear the board and, try and continue to grind with Eldlich, as is tradition.
Yep, this is exactly where Eldlich wants to be, in the driver's seat. Marble Machine is good, but now you are doing it into a known copy of Conquistador at minimum. So we get to add a Speedroid from our deck to our hand. I imagine that's going to be Terror Top. Oh, wow, do we already have it?
Ooh.
Oh, is Terror Top only if you control no monsters?
If you control no monsters, you can special summon it, yes.
Well, in that case, that makes sense.
So,
we'll go Takatomborg into Dendaiko.
Yeah, already got the board established.
So out comes Hagorda, I'd imagine. Yep, and now that's in rotation. We just have to keep living. End phase is kind of rough. All right, we'll get over the Hagorda here and set one card, passing back to our opponent. And down comes the double yo-yo. Okay, after general fears that this was going to absolutely screw everything up, we do in fact have a play. So we'll go double yo-yo into Takatomborg. Tale as old as time. We've seen it a couple of turns in a row now, except this time we have Hagorda as well.
Yeah, out comes the card turbo, and I imagine we'll be going for the Hagorda. Ooh, but the Walkero is going to put a quick stop to that.
Or
but
will
the
it?
Red Reboot.
Or will
Never
it?
mind.
Oh,
just draw Red Reboot.
Red Reboot. Very cool, fun card. Very glad this card is still legal. What I like the most about this card is that it's legal. It's just, big fan.
Yeah,
gosh.
I mean, oof.
That said, how are you getting into a winning position from here? You can go for Crystal Wing, of course. You've got double yo-yo. You've got to have like 3 or 4 additional extenders. Card Turbo's good, but you're really looking for a Shen to couple with this, and 7 does not get you a Shen. Oh,
going for the Wind Pegasus. All right.
So we can pop one card.
Yeah, functionally an MST.
Oh, and it was Droplet. Oh, the only non-trap. How painful.
Oh, and yeah, worse, it actually negated the Crystal Wings, so the Eldlich is going to survive for the time being, at least.
It looks like we are going to go for battle.
Yeah, Card Turbo actually boosted the Wind Pegasus by 800, so now it can beat over the Golden Lord. So there's something.
Be a lot better if that was not in the graveyard.
Yeah, but wow, this is looking pretty good with a Tracer top deck.
That's nice. Okay, we'll go for Striker. That's going to get negated by a Crystal Wing. What do they forget or what? No, they just get to preserve their Eldlich here. They're going to go for that. Can't, unfortunately, really do what you want, but can get over the Wind Pegasus.
Yeah, and then we'll hopefully be able to float into more Eldritch traps in the end phase here.
Kind of sucks that they're stuck on like multiples of Hakero. Like you really want to be able to be cycling between Hakero and the Conquistador over the course of a single turn, but often you find yourself in the scenario where they have just gone to the graveyard independently of each other. Standby, they'll flip up the Anti-Spell Fragrance, not a huge shock. The Red-Eyed Dice is a card that is just unbelievably strong in this deck only.
Yeah, and I do kind of wonder about flipping or keeping the anti-spell because they set it off the red reboot and opted to hold on to it, but I'm not sure how good it is in this particular game state. Nonetheless, we are going to go for the Juju again,
Like
the
you'd
VW
expect if they had
Synchro.
something like a there can be only one, they would probably be going into that. A lot of these are machines.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
All right, we are going for Juju, and we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that Eldlich while we still can. Ooh, out comes the Conquistador. We will pop the Crystal Wing.
And I think we are simplifying the game state in such a way that Speedway might actually still be in a good position, especially with that Ash right there. Pretty good.
That's cute. I mean, you have to figure out a way to out the recursive Eldlich, but we're kind of low on Eldlich spell traps, right? We've got 2 Hakeros in rotation, and I believe they just missed that one, in fact, at end step, and 2 Scarlet Sanguines. So we've got 1 black, 1 scarlet, and 2 Conquistadors. Having 2 of one individual copy is never a great place to be because they're so slow. It feels like over the course of any single turn, they'll only really have access to one guaranteed piece of interaction. And we're just going to Graveyard here, going to fire the Conch and the Scarlet Sanguine. To
Yeah,
get
and
the
you do have to
third
wonder
Hakero,
how
what are you
Eldritch.
doing? Dude, just get the Conquistadors!
You know, I am wondering how Eldritch is able to out this Juju if it is able to be protected by its own effect, because
Yeah,
that is definitely not easy.
sheesh. Is there ever a way that we can cut them off of 2 monsters? I don't think so. Another Ash Blossom off the top, and that's the last Scarlet Sanguine.
Ooh,
Activate the
this
Hakero's Graveyard effect. You have to still have black in deck.
this is just so rough.
Oh, can
Prosperity
they even
getting
do it? Oh, they
wow.
can't because of Spell Fragrance, can they? Oh, that's
I believe they could still
miserable.
set them,
Oh,
but
yeah, they should be able to.
yeah, this is pretty dicey.
All right, there's Speed Recovery
Okay.
set the previous turn. We will go ahead and bring back the dice. I imagine you Hakero here. No, just gonna let it happen. Okay, we'll stop the Hagoida at minimum.
All right. So where do you go from here if you're Speedroid? Pretty low in life, so keeping this Juju in attack is probably not wise.
So we've
Gonna be switching
got
it.
what, 7 stars of material? That doesn't accomplish anything more powerful than Juju. Down comes Conk. We can pop the dice here. And oh no, did they catch him?
Oh, I think the Hagoida was the
Oh,
second type. Yeah, it
yeah.
was.
Oh no. We do
All
get to
right.
trigger Pegasus
So
here, which shuffles the Eldlich back in, and that's no small thing because they don't really have a good way to get back to it, but they might just be dead to the attacks of the Conquistador here.
wow, that is a crazy way to lose the game if you're on the side of Speedroid,
Whoa!
and that is game number 2 going to Dive Missile. Crazy,
Wow, that
crazy
feels
ending.
like they really snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. I don't even know why you'd go for the red-eyed dice play under the knowledge that your opponent has the third Hakero and can cut you off of Juju.
Yeah, but it looks like Speedroid is going first for the first time in the series here.
All right,
And
let's see
out
what this
comes
deck can
Marble
do.
Machine. Yeah, here comes Takatomborg, and a special out the Denden Daiko Duke.
This is just such a
And then,
powerful loop. It's just such a good series of easily accessible cards.
yeah, and we got the card table as well. So now we have multiple extenders.
Denden to
Then to
bring
bring
back
back
Card
the
Turbo,
card table and the Hogoida as
Hagoida.
well.
Wow, is this Shen? Oh, it's double Crystal Wing. Okay.
You know, I like how one is in attack position, the other is in defense.
Yikes.
Oh, but Alpha pretty
Oh
strong
no,
here.
the defense is gonna kill him.
Yeah, that actually just
Oh.
single-handedly outed both Crystal Wings.
Oh, if they just summoned
Wow.
them both at attack, it wouldn't have happened. So now we can activate the Eldlich in hand to pop the Crystal Wing, and this is what I like the most about Eldlich is, obviously it's a control deck, it loves to go first all day, but it is one of the few control decks that really doesn't hate going second. Eldlich's hand effect, the powerful spells and traps you can board into, like evenly matched like Lightning Storm when you are going second, I mean, it really does not have to worry about much. Even if the opponent sets up 4 or 5 negates, if you're splashing something like Zoo, you can easily chew through them.
Yeah, and here comes a copy of Yo-Yo, which is pretty good. I wonder if they're gonna save the Walkera for the oh, you can definitely do that if you have Valor. So that
Yikes.
works. But yeah. possibly saving the Walkera for the Hagoida as they've been doing pretty much all series. Gonna Foolish for a Terratop. Don't see that every day.
Oh no.
Oh, that is the reason, and looks like we're gonna be getting rid of that Terratop.
Okay,
oh, and that is gonna be the
fire this off.
end of the turn. Yeah.
Wow, that's so painful. It looked so capable in previous games, and here it is just getting bowled over by the power of second Eldlich.
Yeah, this is just gonna be
yikes.
Attacking. Not much else to say.
And pot in main phase 2 seems good. Oh,
yeah,
that's everything.
What do we
find
but a couple of Rockets and an Ash, which will probably seal the deal.
Yeah. Hell, you could even go for Gustav Max here. Say, out this card exactly. Okay, Den Daiko Duke is fine. We can use Hagoida Engrave because it's a tuner. And then the Conk on Summon might be the end of the turn. Okay.
Oh,
that is it.
Italy, but we know about the Ash, and that is going to be it. So
Speedroid, no.
Valiant attempt, but unfortunately going to fall to the hands of Rokket Eldlich. But I mean, we've seen this deck in the past, so not really too surprising. Rokket Eldlich still pretty capable for sure.
And should be, noted that Dive Missile's a really good player. They're around like the online tournament circuit. They routinely do pretty well. So not surprising to see them take down a rogue strategy with one a little more adjacent to meta, but still pretty cool to see what Speedroid was capable of. It certainly did some stuff I wasn't expecting. It put up a fight, which is shocking, but unfortunately did fall in the end.
Yep, and again, cool to see that people are still experimenting with all sorts of different strategies. Which we will continue to try and bring to you more in the later stages of this tournament for sure. So stick around for those.
Yeah, speaking of, I am going to be commentating additional rounds of this tournament alongside SirEmanon, and I believe the second round will be going up shortly on SirEmanon's channel. So there will be a link to that in the description and the end card of this video. Go ahead and subscribe to them if you want to see the remaining rounds of this tournament. We'll probably alternate or something. I'm going to try and milk this for as much free content as I can, I believe.
All right, and with that, that'll be it from us. Thank you guys all so much for watching.